Hey everyone, and welcome back to the podcast. Today, Angelina and I are tackling a topic that's frankly a bit of a gut punch to some, but it's also one of the most powerful and transformative truths you can ever internalize. We're talking about the raw, unfiltered reality that nobody cares.
Absolutely, John. And I know, right off the bat, that sounds incredibly harsh, almost dismissive of genuine struggles. But stick with us, because we're not saying don't care about others or that empathy isn't crucial in our relationships. What we're diving into today is a much deeper, more personal realization about your own journey and your own success.
Yeah, it's about that moment when you hit a wall, you're exhausted, maybe you've had a string of bad luck, where you're just facing an uphill battle, and you think, surely, someone will see my effort. Someone will understand why I can't push any harder today. We're conditioned, I think, to expect some kind of external validation or even intervention.
Exactly. We often harbor this subtle subconscious hope that if we just struggle hard enough, if our fatigue is visible enough, if our challenges are dramatic enough, the universe, or a benevolent boss, or a supportive friend, will step in and make things easier. We wait for understanding, motivation, or sometimes just permission to slow down.
But the uncomfortable truth is, the world doesn't stop. Your goals don't pause, the competition doesn't take a break because you're having a bad day. Nobody cares about your excuses. They care about results. And that's not a judgment, it's just the fundamental mechanics of how things operate in the real world.
It's a really tough pill to swallow initially, because it can feel incredibly lonely. Like, wait, you mean all this internal turmoil, all this silent battle, it's not being registered on some cosmic scoreboard? And it's not. But once you accept that, once you genuinely internalize that nobody is coming to save you, something absolutely transformational happens.
You take responsibility, and I mean radical responsibility. You stop pointing fingers at circumstances, at luck, at other people. You realize that if anything is going to change, if you're going to achieve anything meaningful, it's entirely up to you. And that, my friends, is where true power lies.
It really is the ultimate freedom. Because if nobody cares about your excuses, it also means nobody can hold you back. You are liberated from waiting for permission, from needing validation. You stop explaining why you can't do something, and you start figuring out how you will do it.
Think about it in any context. Let's say you're trying to build a new skill, learn a language, or master an instrument. You could spend hours explaining how busy you are, how difficult the material is, how little talent you have. But the guitar doesn't care about your excuses. It only responds to the consistent practice, the calloused fingers, the hours invested.
And the same goes for fitness goals. Nobody cares if you're tired after work or if you earned that extra slice of pizza. Your body operates on the principles of nutrition and exercise. The results reflect the consistent effort and choices, not the elaborate narrative of why today was an exception.
Exactly. It's a very binary equation in many aspects of life. You either put in the work or you don't. And the outcome is directly proportional. It's a hard lesson, but once learned, it simplifies everything.
This isn't about ignoring your feelings or pushing through burnout recklessly. It's about understanding the distinction between needing a genuine break for self-care and making an excuse to avoid discomfort or hard work. The latter is what we're targeting here, that mental hurdle of self-pity or waiting for a magic solution.
Yeah, and that's crucial. We're not advocating for self-destruction, we're advocating for self-reliance. It's about recognizing that the emotional currency of struggle often doesn't translate into tangible progress in the external world. You have to convert that pain, that struggle, into fuel.
Turn silence into strength. I love that phrasing. When you stop expending energy explaining, complaining, or waiting, you free up so much mental and emotional bandwidth. That bandwidth can then be channeled directly into solving the problem, improving your skills, or pushing your project forward.
And let's talk about the nature of this hard work, because let's be real, it's not glamorous. It's often incredibly lonely. You're often grinding away when everyone else is sleeping, or socializing, or just relaxing. There are no cheering crowds for the solitary effort.
It's repetitive too. Whether you're a writer staring at a blank page, a programmer debugging code, or an entrepreneur making countless cold calls, a huge chunk of the work is just consistent, often monotonous, repetition. It's not always exciting, it's not always stimulating.
And it's done without applause. That's a big one. We live in a world that loves to celebrate the finished product, the grand success, the overnight sensation. But the overnight sensation almost always has a decade of unseen, unapplauded work behind it.
Absolutely. Think of any successful person you admire. Do you really think they got there by waiting for motivation to strike every single day? Or by explaining away their bad days? No. They showed up. They put in the time. They did the boring, repetitive, unglamorous work.
Every unseen effort, every moment you choose discipline over ease, it builds something within you. It builds resilience, it builds character, it sharpens your edge, like a blacksmith forging steel. It's in those quiet moments that true strength is developed.
And while others are complaining about the system, about their lack of resources, about how unfair it all is, the disciplined person just keeps moving forward. They're not expending energy on unproductive narratives, they're investing it in action.
That's why the grind itself becomes your advantage. Most people aren't willing to do it. They'll do the fun parts, maybe the initial exciting surge, but when it gets tough, when it gets boring, when the immediate gratification isn't there, they drop off. That's your opportunity.
It's true. You don't need anyone to believe in you to succeed. You don't need permission from a gatekeeper. You don't need constant praise or validation from your peers, your family, or even yourself sometimes. What you need is consistency and effort. Those are the only two non-negotiables.
It reminds me of the story of a marathon runner. Imagine them at mile 20. Their body is screaming, their mind is telling them to stop. Do they look to the crowd for validation? Do they wait for someone to cheer them on just to take the next step? No. They dig deep. They remember all those solitary training runs. They rely on their internal fortitude.
And that's the beautiful part. The discipline forged in those lonely miles is what carries them across the finish line. It's the ultimate self-validation. And the finish line, that result, speaks for itself. No explanation needed for the exhaustion or the pain, just the triumph.
This idea extends to so many aspects of life beyond just grand achievements, even small daily habits. Nobody cares if you feel like making your bed. Nobody cares if you feel like doing your daily journaling. But the cumulative effect of those small, consistent efforts builds a life of order, clarity, and progress.
And it's a mindset shift that fundamentally changes your relationship with setbacks. Instead of seeing a failure as a reason to give up or to seek sympathy, you see it as data. Okay, that didn't work. Nobody cares about my disappointment, so what's the next step? How do I adjust? How do I try again?
It's that relentless pursuit of improvement, regardless of external circumstances or opinions. It's the silent commitment to getting better, one small, unseen effort at a time. It's cultivating that inner drive that doesn't rely on external praise or permission.
And the irony is, when you stop seeking external validation, that's often when you start getting it, because your results become undeniable, your work speaks for itself. People might not have cared about your reasons, but they will absolutely respect your results.
They respect the person who gets things done, the person who delivers, the person who consistently shows up and produces, despite challenges, despite setbacks, despite fatigue. That's what commands respect.
It's not about being a robot, devoid of emotion. It's about building a robust mental framework that allows you to acknowledge emotions but not be controlled by them, especially when it comes to pursuing your goals. You can feel tired, but you still do the work.
It's about understanding that motivation is fleeting, but discipline is forever. Motivation might get you started on a project, but it's discipline, that quiet, consistent grind, that carries you through to the finish line, especially when nobody else is watching or caring.
And let's touch on the idea of silence into strength. When you're not spending time explaining your struggles, you're not giving power to them. You're internalizing that energy and converting it into productive output. It becomes a quiet power.
Exactly. You just put your head down and work. The less you talk about what you're going to do or why you can't do something, the more energy you have to actually do it. It's a very practical energy management strategy.
So for anyone listening right now who might be feeling unseen or overwhelmed or like they're doing all this hard work for nothing, we want you to reframe that feeling. That sense of nobody cares isn't a burden, it's an opportunity.
It truly is. It's the moment you stop relying on external forces and tap into your own incredible internal power. It means you have the ultimate freedom to define your path, to put in the work, and to let your results speak for themselves, without needing anyone else's approval.
Work harder, grow quietly. Don't seek the spotlight for your struggles, seek it for your triumphs, which will naturally come from the consistent application of effort. Your quiet dedication will build an undeniable foundation.
Because when it truly feels like nobody cares, that is your freedom. It's your permission to stop explaining, stop making excuses, and start building. It's your cue to turn inward and unleash your full potential.
So, let your results do the talking. Let your consistent effort be your loudest statement. You'll be amazed at what you can achieve when you shed the weight of external expectations and just focus on the work. Thank you so much for joining us on this deep dive today.
Keep grinding, keep growing, and remember, the most profound victories are often forged in silence. We'll catch you next time, everyone.